Good morning, hello, and welcome. It is November 23rd, day before Thanksgiving, and we're going to see if we can have a little bit of fun today before the markets close down tomorrow. All right, guys. First and foremost, what I want to point out is I was probably incorrect in one of my assessments yesterday. So I had said, for those of you who watched the video yesterday or were trading with me live, that I didn't believe we were going to be attempting a breakout from yesterday. Now, while we haven't fully broken away from the range, yesterday's market profile, which we're going to highlight here for a second, I want to point out to you guys how it has the characteristic signs of a breakout or the start of a breakout. So one of the things that we want to look at here, and this is around the area where we ended up selling our positions yesterday. We actually started to build quite a bit of a shelf that lines up pretty well with our T+3 high now, which was one of the highs that we were paying very close attention to yesterday. And after that, we can see that we started to leave some single prints. So we had a breakout, a little bit of consolidation, breakout, little consolidation, breakout, little consolidation, breakout, and then closed up near the highs. So this definitely tells us that buyers were in control yesterday. Our volume ended up picking up quite a bit after we had signed off for the day. Another thing that we had been noting was that the volume was super low, and it just kind of it felt very reminiscent of the previous day, just the opposite. But yeah, once that volume kicked in, people started buying. We definitely started pushing up. So the high here actually stopped right around, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right where day 6 and 7, previous day 6 and 7, their highs kind of ended. So if we end up breaking out above this and continuing our move up, our next high is going to be the last swing high, right? Which was up at when I wrote this in the morning report, 40231. But regardless of that, we've got a lot of things telling us that we may just be hanging out long today. So the first thing we're going to be monitoring as price action starts off in the morning is how these single prints are addressed, if there's any interest in addressing them or taking care of them. And as long as our price action holds strong above our halfback and we get some buyers coming in to replenish this shelf, then we very well could be looking at the start of the breakout. The only other thing to be aware of today is that the FOMC minutes are going to be dropping around 2 p.m. We already know what was said in that meeting. We already know how they're feeling about it. And it doesn't normally move markets a lot, but it can, right? There may be some language in there that algorithms pick up, or some language in there that maybe people didn't want to believe, but once they see it in the minutes, they will. So just something to be aware of, guys, especially with markets being closed tomorrow. Okay. And we've got about 60 seconds till bell. So let's go ahead and get our screen back to the way it's supposed to be. And we'll see what we can do today. All right, so first things first, any early plays we're going to be looking for out of the gate are going to be around our overnight low and our 200 moving daily average. So if we don't get any price action penetration and follow through below those, that's going to be our spot to pick up our first long and just kind of see how that plays out, what some of the morning action and activity does. Obviously, if we get some penetration and piercing below that, we're probably going to sit out for a little bit and just monitor to see how this all works out. I don't feel super confident about immediately shorting the market out of the gate, especially because we are in this position and we have created some weak structure. So, yeah, we'll see how everything plays out. 2 seconds. Here we go. All right, and we're live. I'm going to turn overnight activity off on our regular chart. All right, taking a crack at the highs right out of the gate. Got some pretty good push into the buying. Not much selling right as we're starting. All right, here's our close. So we're going to preload the 400s on our call side and the 399s on our put side. Might not be the contracts we ultimately end up playing with. We'll see. All right, there's some push. Oh, was a little bit of push away from our close, but it is not done yet. See if we encounter any sellers up here at the previous day high. Boom. All right, we got a VPOC just above us that it looks like we're going to take out and address. That would be a good spot for us to see a failure of price if this up move is not going to be continuing. We only got one tick above yesterday's high. So that definitely tells me I don't feel like shorting this activity right here. So we're going to see where this low wave goes to. And see if it gives us a good entry opportunity, some good risk to reward for getting in on the long side. We're fighting out at the VWAP, just on the underside of it, on the ES 15 minute. Yeah, I think my cough's getting better. Hopefully it'll be nice today. It'll play nice. All right, there's our VPOC touch. So let's see if we get a breakdown in price here, or if we start basing. So this now creates a proper high on today's activity measured against yesterday's. So like I was saying, this would be a structurally advantageous spot for the market to turn around. But given yesterday's activity, we're not just going to assume. We're not just going to jump into a short because structurally it looks like a good spot to get short. Because there's a lot of other factors at play here today. All right. The ES has broken through the VWAP. We are now on the other side of it. Nice explosive action there. Nice high on the day. Still going. Uh, 402.31, huh? I want to mark that off just so we can see it. Excuse me. You probably won't be able to see this on your chart yet, but I'm marking off 402.31 because that is the highest high of the last swing high in our 9-day consolidation range. Now, honestly, I'd say so far with what we've seen, how A periods opened up, this is really good news for the bulls. So at this point, our early thesis is we're going to be looking for a good pullback spot that doesn't have any follow through, doesn't really have any power behind it to try and hop in on a long position. So the first potential that we'll see is if we get a pullback towards our 13 moving average. Hopefully that'll line up with a really good level, and then we'll have some better risk to reward. And then after the 13, the VWAP is going to be important as well, as if buyers can keep the momentum, keep the power. We shouldn't see too much of a rotation below today's developing VWAP. Similar to yesterday's activity, we once we crossed over the top of VWAP, we never went back below it. Which, for those of you who were hanging out with me while I was trading, it was a little unfortunate that we ended up getting out of our positions. But as per our rules, as per our window for trading, everything made sense at the time that we got out. And then when we were done, that's when the volume came. So getting some consolidation up here. We'll probably mark this off now. Very poor reaction to that, though. So it's probably not done moving up. Yeah, well, there we go. When you're using support resistance and Wyckoff theory, when you mark off a high, what you're looking to see is if there's a reactionary move, and that's how you know you've got a high. But that pushback, as you can see, it didn't even break the bottom body of the candle that we were using for our resistance line. And I mean, that's not a reaction. That's just some pausing. That's some consolidation in the move. So now we've got a new high, and if we get some pushback, that will be our reaction. So, I mean, we can go ahead, we can mark it off for now. We're not going to be playing off of it yet because, well, we don't have enough information, but we can at least mark it. Let's see, volume activity heavily favoring buyers this morning. Of course, we're also only 9 minutes in, so. Oh, hopefully you can still see that. If you couldn't, should be back now. Yeah, still getting consolidation up here. Haven't gotten a good pullback yet to play off of. There we go. All right. And look at that. We broke through again. So we still haven't found our high yet. Now, you can, in theory, enter in long on those consolidations at the ends of moves. Because again, we haven't gotten a reaction yet. So it's the probability that we have not found our top yet is pretty high. So you could get in at any of those lows, and then obviously your out point would be just below that. You don't want to hold lower than a consolidation area, because then at that point it starts to look like an actual reaction and or pullback. But just some little things to think about strategy wise for how you can try and scalp a little bit of activity, especially in the early morning when the volatility is high and you don't fully know which direction the market wants to commit to yet. So far, this still looks like a consolidation area. We haven't even pulled back into the last consolidation area. But as like before, we're going to go ahead and mark it off for now. And similar to what I was just talking about, right? You can enter at the lows here, which are just at the highs of the last consolidation point, looking to try and take a scalp for the next break. But it's totally up to you and your play style. I wouldn't, in my personal opinion, try to get positions like that for the long run. Granted, if it's a one-time framing day, then I mean, the only good spot to get in is anywhere. But if it isn't, you're not going to be in a good position, a good spot to set up for a trade that's going to develop. And of course, you'll have to, let everything kind of play out and breathe, and then you may get kicked out before everything happens. So if you are trying to play long on the day, because that's the way everything looks like it's turning out, wait for a good, strong entry point. Don't just try to get in on the scalper entry points. All right, so this is kind of looking like a real pullback now. We've broken through where we were kind of consolidating. We're getting back into that secondary consolidation area. We're about to touch the 13. So this is potentially a spot where we would want to enter for good risk to reward. And it looks like we've got some penetration there. VWAP just below. We don't know quite where this pullback is going to yet. So we're just going to hold off. Kind of sit on our hands. Of course, looking at where that low did come to, or where it looks like it's coming to, that is potentially the support level now. Look at that nice thin area in our volume profile. And of course, looks like the touch of the 13's holding for now. So we've got a pretty decent risk to reward spot for a long entry here if we wanted to take it. Some factors working against us. Still early in the morning. There's not a lot of information on the chart and or over throughout the day. So, can be a little bit tough there. But as long as price action holds above the VWAP and holds above this area where we've kind of drawn out some support, then that does help us with that long thesis as the day develops. Ooh, it was just a really good price on the 400s. I thought about it, but I didn't pull the trigger fast enough. So now if I enter up here, we've got to give that quite a bit of breathing room. Although with the 400s, it's not too bad. We'd have to give it 15-cent breathing room at this level. Now the debate. Do I wait to see if we get a little bit of a pullback to that line? Or do we jump in now? We've probably... Whoa. Yeah, looks like we missed our entry. Holy crap. Wow. Oh, man. That's... Whew. That was almost a full dollar play just on those two candles there. Holy guacamole. Interesting. That's a big pushback off of that move. Huh. And yeah, price didn't even get back down to the price that I would want to pay. All that volatility. So even that low right there, that's just barely above that low where we were thinking about entering, is still 20 cents above the entry price we were looking at. That's volatility for you right there. Wow. I don't know if I would have been able to sell that one quick enough if we had gotten in, just because I think I would have been shocked. But that's one where you mash a sell order because you ain't ever gonna get that volatility again. Well, that's not true. But I mean, on a move like that, I mean that's huge. That is all volatility. You sell that, and you may, well, like I said, it was almost a dollar move on contracts for what from here. That's 400.45 to 40178. So it's like a dollar on contracts for a little bit over a dollar movement in price action on two candles. I wish the volatility would calm down because I definitely wanted to get some longs down there. Although, if our price action doesn't get back over that overnight high here, so it looks like we did miss a good entry point. Too much debate, not enough action. Be curious to see if the channel I just drew holds at all, and if that push outside of it's just a little too aggressive, or if we need to move the top of our channel up. So one of the other factors that made this a good buy, while we were down hanging out just above VWAP, there's still 73% buying on the day versus 27% selling. So that told us that there were not a lot of active sellers participating this morning, comparatively speaking. So it seems like the top of the channel was actually respected pretty good there. I mean, it did line up well with where we've got a previous resistance drawn out at. Oh, you know what? I gotta zoom in on one of my charts here to see something. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. So unfortunately this isn't something you guys can see on your chart because, well, my supply demand zones don't translate well into my tick chart. That high, that 40178, that pierced into a supply zone that we had drawn out from before. So that actually explains the aggressive reaction we saw. There were still some trapped sell orders in there that got filled. That's what brought us back down to the VWAP, and we pushed back up. It looks like we're taking another crack at it. So I am going to guess that this supply zone is not going to hold today, and we are going to make an attempt at breaking out over the 40231. I still want a much better entry point than somewhere up here, but as far as my thesis goes, that's kind of what we're feeling right now. Some things that would change that for us. If we do get a rotation below VWAP, if we do break the uptrend, then it does start to get a little bit weaker. All right. I'll be right back, guys. And we're back. Of course, we are hoping that within the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes, we do get a good entry play. Because I did want to be done by 11 today. Getting that consolidation at the end range. We got B period coming up. So if we stay hanging out up here, we should get a poor high off B period, which then, in theory, could present us with a good entry opportunity when B period dumps. Oh man, there is no selling right now. We're at 95% to 5% on the day. Jeez, the selling volume is even more pathetic today than it was yesterday. Um, Overall volume, pretty low this morning. Well, it looks like we might be a little bit higher today at the same time than we were yesterday. All right, 5 more minutes till B. So based on the amount of volume that we saw taking place, there's seems to be some pretty good exchanging going on. It's about the same amount of volume up here as down in our middle consolidation area. Another 3 minutes or so for B period. One and a half minutes. We're at the bottom of our channel. Activity's been consolidating sideways. See if she tries to rotate through this thin area by the overnight high. VWAP would be a really good spot for us to find support, just kind of based on what we're seeing in our volume profile. All right, B period's about to drop. Let's see, where we going? What we doing? And B period. All right, come on, give me that poor high, and then give me a drop I can play off of. Man, that channel bottom's holding pretty strong. Although it's getting pounded on. Oh, here we go. All right, is this our entry? Right at VWAP? Where the heck is the price? Call contracts are very difficult to pinpoint right now because of all the volatility. I guess we're not going to jump in on that. Yeah, this pricing's wacky. That's unfortunate. But this is a good spot. You know what? We're going to market order in because everything's kind of wonky. Ooh, that's not where I want my stop to be, though. But we'll see. Yeah, the pricing on that, we were just watching the bid ask move all over the place, and I couldn't figure out where I wanted to be to buy that. So, since we did believe that we had a good move, we just market ordered in. So, unless I'm trying to enter quickly, something like that, I typically won't do market orders because you don't have any control over the price. You are executed in at whatever the best price is considered for that moment. I do want to see us move away from this thin area, though. So I just don't want this to turn into a case of we're on the right side, but we're too early. I think we've got a great spot. Oh, yeah, we do. That's a pretty good spot to take a piece. No, too late. Ow, ow. Sorry, I've got a little dog trying to crawl in between my legs. I'm sorry, have you not gotten enough attention today? Is that what's going on? All right, there we go. And we got a piece. Pretty decent, pretty decent. We're going to protect this. Might end up being a mistake. But, I mean, we just took 30 cents on one piece, so I'm fine with that. If our thesis is right, it shouldn't slide back down into that thin spot. At least not yet. We are going to set up our next sell to try and front run this one. May have to end up adjusting that one down. Don't really have aggressive sellers today. So I know you can see a little bit here. Let me adjust this. Whee! There you go. Now it'll make a little bit more sense. So ideally, I actually want to sell this a little bit before we hit that resistance. But for now, because of where price is, that's where it's predicting that would be. But I think that we've probably got something pretty close. If it starts shooting up and it gets close to that, I will slide and adjust that sell to try and get it closer to the target. But for now, we're just going to leave it be. All right, this was our dump spot last time. We're still inside that zone that had supply. So the hope is that we've eaten up all that. Now we've got a poor high on the day now. So, oh, all right, there we go. Proper high now. Yeah, that's going to be too much. Let's see where that gets us. Still a little too much. Yeah, that should work. We are going to reshape our channel now, though. Now that we got more information to play with on the day. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see it, but on my screen now, I can kind of see those faint lines of the supply zone that I had been talking about. Is it showing up yet for you guys? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, she's teasing me. Come on, take a swing at that resistance. Do it. I mean, we're heavy in that supply zone right now, and so far it hasn't encountered another big dump. Seems like we're getting volume here. Getting a little theta chewed. Well, where my safety stop is, if we get knocked out at that price, we'll still be net positive on the play because we made the. Oh, wait, no, we made 40 cents on that, so we'll be pretty good net positive. I still think we're on the right side. We do have to chew up this supply zone before we can really move on. But the good news is, once we're through that supply zone, should be pretty easy sailing. So I don't know. I kind of almost want to take that order I've got up at the resistance off. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna do that. because that's where the top of the supply gap or the supply zone is. So if it pops that, it should move pretty good. My only fear is that new sellers would step in because we would be starting to break over the last swing high. But if we are on a breakout and we are on the right side, then that would actually just kind of shortchange us. Yep, just sitting here waiting for something to happen. I mean, unfortunately, there really isn't much more to analyze at this point. We kind of talked about everything that's going on. We're in a play. We're just waiting for it to develop and move. So I guess, I think we're gonna shut the stream down early today, guys. So I don't really want to sit here for like another 45 minutes in mostly silence or have nothing really of quality to say. But what I'll do is in the comments section, I'll let you guys know how this play eventually plays out. And yeah. So have a happy Thanksgiving to everybody who's watching this, for those of you that celebrate Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time, and I'll see you guys. Well, maybe I'll see you guys for some Black Friday fun. We'll see. I may abstain from trading on Black Friday just because it didn't turn out super well for me last year. Granted, I was a little bit more green, but yeah. So if you haven't yet and you like the content, please like, subscribe, join us in the Discord, hang out with me. All right. That's it for today. Take it easy, everybody.